Our textbook defines altruism as a motive to increase another's welfare without conscious regard for one's self-interest. This definition is very closely related to the biblical understanding of what true love is. 1 Corinthians 13:4 says, "Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things." In John 15:13, we find one of the best definitions of love. It says, "Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." In John 3:16, we find one of the most powerful descriptions of love. It tells us about how God gave up His Son, Jesus Christ, so that we could have life instead of death. And through these verses and so many others in the scriptures, we find that the definition of love, according to God, is to favor someone above other things and above oneself. According to the Bible, Jesus is God, leaving behind heaven to come down to a fallen world to give of His life in order that we would have life in Him. Just as He gave up His life for us, Jesus calls us to give our lives to Him and to give up our lives for others. In essence, you could call that a God-driven social responsibility norm. We chose two ways of helping people. First, we offered help at an event in Faith Hall.
We defined compassion as helping clean up Faith Hall by gathering the trash, stacking the chairs, and folding the tables. The people thanked us for our help.
The second type of help we offered was showing empathy to others by listening to them and offering prayer for them. We went out searching for people, but I really do believe that God led us to them. We would start a conversation with them, and we would ask how they were doing. Oftentimes, people would start telling us about their worries with finals or other responsibilities. We simply listened to them and heard their problems. And when a time was appropriate, we asked them if we could pray for them. Going into all of this experience, I found myself distracted by my circumstances. I was tired and I had all sorts of concerns in my mind. And I think I may have even had a bit of a negative attitude. But as I went further into it, I found myself focusing less on myself and more on Jesus and on others. The hard part was surrendering my concerns and worries about finals that I was thinking at that time limitations, and even about making a good video. Also, it was a challenge to not try to control the conversation and just allow people to speak and listen to them. Through this whole experience, I was blessed with seeing people's burdens lifted off of them and their faces light up. It was also humbling to see God working in my own heart and removing that bad attitude and the selfishness.
In my experience, I did not feel as if I were being genuinely kind because I was doing it for a grade. Maybe at that point I was exerting egoism instead of compassion. But I would like to think that there will be a day that I stop and help someone walking on the side of the road, taking time out of my day, no matter what I had planned.
According to our textbook, social exchange theory is a theory that human interactions are transactions that aim to maximize one's rewards and minimize one's costs. However, I believe that God can replace that with true altruism, within us.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!